The Golden State Warriors secured a convincing 120-97 victory over the Orlando Magic, but the final score did not fully capture the tension that surfaced during the game. In the third quarter, with the contest still competitive, an intense confrontation between Draymond Green and head coach Steve Kerr shifted attention away from the court and reignited questions about the emotional volatility surrounding one of the NBA's most scrutinized franchises. Before we go any further, this is the kind of NBA story that only makes sense if you follow it closely. Subscribe now so you don't miss the second chapter, hit the like button to keep this discussion alive, and comment the city you're watching from. Whether you're in Oakland, New York, Sao Paulo, or halfway across the world, let everyone know where Warriors fans are tuning in from. The incident occurred during a timeout in the third quarter, at a moment when Golden State had yet to fully break the game open. Cameras captured a heated exchange between Green and Kerr, with both appearing visibly frustrated. Shortly afterward, Green made the decision to leave the court and head to the locker room, where he remained for several minutes. Although he eventually returned to the bench, the 35-year-old forward did not re-enter the game. Speaking after the win, Kerr confirmed the disagreement but downplayed its public significance. According to the coach, the timeout was called because the team had lost focus, and Green chose to step away to cool down. Kerr emphasized that the matter was private and suggested it did not affect the team's ability to regroup and finish the game strongly. Green also addressed the situation, offering a candid explanation for his decision. He acknowledged that emotions escalated and admitted he did not believe remaining on the floor would help defuse the moment. For Green, stepping away was a way to prevent the situation from worsening. He later returned to the bench, explaining that he felt a responsibility to his teammates and did not want his absence to be interpreted as abandonment. The context surrounding the incident is significant. Green and Kerr have worked together since 2014, forming one of the most successful coach-player partnerships in modern NBA history. Together, they have won 4 NBA championships and helped define the Warriors' dynasty. However, the 2025-26 season has been marked by inconsistency, with Golden State hovering around .500 and struggling to establish rhythm on both ends of the floor. Ironically, the Warriors delivered their best stretch of basketball after Green left the court. In the fourth quarter, Golden State outscored Orlando 31-14, turning a competitive matchup into a blowout. The surge highlighted both the team's depth and its ability to respond under pressure, but it also fueled debate about Green's on-court impact during tense moments. This was not an isolated incident. In the Warriors' previous game, a win against the Phoenix Suns, Green was ejected after receiving consecutive technical fouls, further adding to a season already punctuated by emotional flashpoints. While his intensity has long been viewed as a competitive advantage, it continues to walk a fine line between leadership and disruption. Despite the latest controversy, Green appears to retain strong support within the organization. Guard Brandon Podziemski praised Green for returning to the bench and remaining engaged with the team. Kerr echoed that sentiment, stressing that the group is prepared to move forward and underscoring Green's importance to the roster. According to Kerr, the victory over Orlando ranked among the Warriors' best performances of the season, particularly in terms of structure and defensive focus. Golden State currently sits 8th in the Western Conference, occupying a play-in position as the season approaches its midpoint. With a record balance between wins and losses, the Warriors continue to search for stability amid an aging core and rising pressure to remain competitive in a crowded conference. As they prepare for their next matchup against the Dallas Mavericks, questions linger about how moments like this shape the team's internal dynamics. For now, the Warriors insist the issue is behind them. But in a season defined by tension, accountability, and uncertainty, even a decisive win cannot fully silence the noise. The confrontation between Draymond Green and Steve Kerr cannot be viewed as an isolated episode. Instead, it fits into a broader historical pattern that has followed Green throughout his career and has, in many ways, shaped the identity of the Golden State Warriors. His emotional intensity has long been both a competitive weapon and a recurring source of instability, creating a dual legacy that continues to influence how the team is perceived internally and externally. Since the early years of the Warriors' dynasty, Green has operated as the emotional engine of the group. His defensive leadership, vocal presence, and willingness to confront teammates and opponents alike were instrumental in establishing Golden State's championship mentality. During the team's peak years, that edge was often celebrated, tolerated, and even encouraged, largely because it translated into winning at the highest level. Championships tend to soften scrutiny, and Green's outbursts were frequently framed as expressions of competitive fire rather than structural concerns. As the roster has aged and the margin for error has narrowed, that same behavior carries a different weight. The Warriors are no longer the undisputed power of the league, and moments of internal conflict now resonate more loudly. Each emotional episode becomes a data point in a season defined by uncertainty, where cohesion and discipline are no longer guaranteed by talent alone. Inside the locker room, these incidents create complex dynamics. Younger players are asked to navigate a culture built on accountability and intensity, while also adjusting to a league that increasingly emphasizes emotional control and adaptability. For veterans, particularly those who experienced the championship years, the challenge lies in balancing loyalty to a proven leader with the evolving needs of a team fighting for relevance rather than dominance. Steve Kerr's response reflects that tension. As a coach, he has consistently defended Green publicly, emphasizing trust, shared history, and mutual respect. At the same time, Kerr has increasingly acknowledged the importance of focus and emotional regulation, especially during moments when the team struggles to execute. His post-game comments following the Orlando win suggested a desire to protect the locker room while quietly reinforcing boundaries that were less visible in previous seasons. The statistical reality reinforces the urgency of that balance. Golden State remains a team hovering around mediocrity, reliant on execution rather than overwhelming talent. In such an environment, emotional lapses can quickly translate into lost possessions, defensive breakdowns, and momentum swings that the Warriors are no longer equipped to absorb effortlessly. While the team surged in the fourth quarter against Orlando, relying on that pattern is unsustainable over an 82-game season. Green's recent technical fouls, ejections, and now a voluntary trip to the locker room underscore a recurring question. Can the Warriors harness his intensity without allowing it to fracture rhythm and trust? The answer may define the remainder of the season. Emotional leadership, once an unquestioned asset, now requires recalibration within a roster that lacks the depth and margin that once insulated the team from internal turbulence. From a broader organizational perspective, these moments also intersect with long-term planning. The Warriors are navigating the twilight of a generational core, with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson's departure, and Draymond Green himself approaching the final chapters of their careers. Maintaining internal stability is no longer just about winning games. It is about preserving culture during a transitional phase that will shape the franchise's next era. In that context, emotional control becomes more than a personal responsibility. It becomes a strategic necessity. The Warriors cannot afford to let internal friction overshadow development, preparation, and execution. Every game carries increased weight in a crowded Western Conference, where consistency often separates playoff teams from those left on the outside. Draymond Green remains a champion, a leader, and a defining figure in Golden State's history. But as the team's circumstances change, so too must the parameters of leadership. Whether the Warriors can evolve without losing the edge that once defined them remains an open question. What is clear is that emotional discipline may prove just as critical as talent in determining whether this season stabilizes or unravels further.